have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
All right, let's get this party started today. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna coming at you. And welcome back to another episode of the Genesis Frequency and to the final episode of our series, The Metaphysics of Leadership. So welcome in, whether it's your first time or you're back for the 300th time. I'm so glad that you're here, and continue to reach out to me with your questions, your ideas, things that you'd like to hear, that you'd like me to share, and for conversations about taking leadership development, personal development, professional development, spiritual development into your organization, into your ministry, into your business, your small business, your large business. I do this work with everyone. So we're going to wrap up this little mini series I've done. I'm going to call this entry here the consciousness of abundance, leading in alignment with universal laws. Because we have to be aware of these laws so that we mindfully cooperate with them. And, we're talking about above the line leadership here. We're talking about, I had to reach behind me. Sorry, I drifted away for a moment, but we're talking about being aware of where we are energetically and in consciousness and in mind and in thought. And if you look to the book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, a New Paradigm for Sustainable Success, it starts us off looking at ourselves, whether we're above the line and below the line. And all this stuff, being aware of these universal laws that are always at work, whether you're aware of them or not, above the line is where we want to be. And that's what I talk about all the time since the beginning of this show over 7 years ago. So just to, make you aware of that. And it's this important stuff because we really need to not only understand what these laws are, but work in concert with them, work in harmony with them. Being aware of them, we accelerate the movement to our desired objective. And we all hear about laws. Maybe you're new, you're listening to this for leadership, and you're like, "What are you talking about laws? I got a board meeting to get to." Well, it's operating all the time. These laws are laws, right? It's just like the law of mathematics. You can say, "Oh, yeah, I didn't do good in math in school." It doesn't mean the laws of mathematics aren't valid. Just I don't know how gravity works. Doesn't mean the law of gravity isn't at work, whether you understand it, acknowledge it or not. It's always working. That's how laws of success, laws of being are, universal laws are. So that's what we're really talking about here, to make sure that you're aware of them and that you can cooperate with them and do so in a way that it provides you with greater good, both personally and professionally. So this has really been an incredible journey we've been on because we've looked at leadership over the last 6, 7 months through a variety of different lenses. And I don't see a lot of people out there looking at it through the lens of metaphysics. And being a metaphysician, that's what I wanted to do. So, and I can only get so much in the 3 episodes that we dedicated to this. That's why I invite you to have a conversation with me so we can go deeper into this and how it impacts you and your organization. So going deeper, again, we're talking about the consciousness of abundance, leading in alignment with universal laws. But I want to clarify here, when I say abundance, I'm not just talking about money or material success. Okay, I'm talking about a mindset, a vibration, a way of being. Abundance consciousness means leading from a place of fullness. I mean, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and yes, materially, because we understand that the universe is overflowing with good and that we are meant to live in harmony with that good. This isn't about forcing success. It's about aligning with the laws that govern success and letting them work through us. So I just wanted to be really clear on that because we're going to explore 6 powerful universal laws in today's podcast that can really transform your leadership. And number 1 is the law of oneness. I like to call it the law of divine oneness. Hang in here with me on this. Number 2, the law of vibration. 3, the law of cause and effect. 4, the law of polarity. 5, the law of perpetual transmutation. And 6, the law of rhythm. And then I'll share with you some practical steps that you can take, and we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap this all up into a little bit of a call to action for you because you got to apply this stuff. You got to take action in your life. You got to do something, right? You got to do something to move you along your path and accelerate that movement. So I want to help you integrate these principles into your personal and professional life. And that's what we'll talk about as we wrap this up today. So let's look at number 1, the law of divine oneness, which is really the foundation of abundant leadership. We have to get out of this consciousness of separation. This law reminds us that everything in the universe is interconnected. Has nothing to do with religiosity. Okay? Everything in the universe is interconnected. Every thought, every action, every intention ripples out and impacts the whole. So many miss this very basic law. Throw a pebble into a pond, look at the ripples. They ripple out, they touch everything in the entire pond. And then when it hits the shoreline, what it does, it starts to ripple back, right? What we send out comes back to us. So as leaders, we're not separate from those we lead. We're not separate from the challenges we face or the opportunities we embrace. When we understand this oneness, we move from competition to collaboration. We move from fear to faith. The late, great Wayne Dyer said it perfectly. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So spend some time with this. Just sit with this and seek that light of understanding all around this and notice how this really impacts you, the way you lead, the way you accomplish the goals that you've set out for yourself personally and professionally. Here's a practical application you can use and do this. I invite you to do this each morning. Just pause and reflect. How am I contributing to the energy of my team, to the energy of my organization, to the energy of my family? Am I leading from fear? Am I leading from a solid belief foundation, leading from faith? Am I leading from separation, everything separate from me, or from connection, knowing that we're interrelated and connected? When you lead from oneness, you create a culture where people feel valued, seen, and inspired to bring their best selves forward. All right, let's keep it moving here. The law of vibration, energy in motion. My teacher, one of my favorite teachers and mentors, Mr. Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor, said, "We live in an ocean of motion. Everything vibrates, right? It really does. Everything. Your thoughts, your emotions, words, actions, they're all energetic frequencies. And what's so important about this is like attracts like. Another teacher, Neville Goddard, taught, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I did many, many episodes on that. High vibration leadership means cultivating thoughts of gratitude, of possibility, of infinite potential and abundance, even in the face of challenges. Bob Proctor reminded us, he said, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So don't mix up the steps in the process of be, do, have. What are you being, right? You got to be it. You got to move into it energetically. You got to match the frequency of the wish, of the desire, of the objective, of the corporate goal, of the vision. You have to be it. You have to become what it is. So, an action step around this would be to begin each day by aligning your vibration. Visualize your goals you already achieved. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the excitement as if it's happening now. You have to move into, you can't just see it on the screen of your mind. You have to move into it and you have to feel the feelings of it being so now. So this is way beyond positive thinking. This is energetic alignment. This is frequency adjustment, and you must do this. So do that at the beginning of your day. All right, number 3, the law of cause and effect. Do you think about this at all? Most people, and the vast majority of leaders, juggle effects all day long. They're dealing with something they didn't want to happen. They're standing in that puddle. They're splashing around in it, and they don't take the time to look back to see what was the cause. Every cause creates an effect. So if you experience an effect, and this isn't about blame, what is if we look at these laws, what is let's look back to causation. What caused this experience to manifest itself in my field of experience? And with culture, the culture you experience in your organization, for instance, that isn't random. It's the result of causes set in motion by thoughts, by words, by actions. Culture is nothing more than group think, group paradigm, group programming. So again, you don't like it. A lot of people, oh man, the culture around here, and you know about this. You know about this because you walk into a place and you say, man, the energy in here was great. Or, man, I walked in the energy and I couldn't get out of there fast enough, right? And you can impact this. You don't do it by slamming your fist on the table. So we got to change the culture around here. Okay, everybody's going to go and change the culture. That's not how it works. Cause. Let's talk about this. Charles Fillmore wrote, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. That is so true. So for reflection as a leader, you might want to ask yourself, are my words and my actions planting seeds of trust, creativity, and abundance? Or are they unknowingly sowing seeds of doubt and limitation? Right? Because you want to model and demonstrate, right? That's the being of the vision. So important. So you need to reflect on this as a leader. What kind of seeds are you planting? So in a practical sense, what you might want to do is be really intentional. Set your intention for the day. Speak life into your team. Make decisions from a place of vision and integrity. Make all your decisions based on the vision as it being real now, knowing that the effects will reflect your inner state, that causative state. What you are being, is going to express in the outer world. That's the law. That's how it works. All right. Next up, the law of polarity. Finding power in contrast. There is so much power in contrast when we experience that unpleasant feeling often, right? Unpleasant feeling. We're experiencing something we don't want to experience. But what does it do? It reinforces what we don't want, right? I don't want this. So I have to go to cause and create conditions that are different that will be experienced as something desirable. So this law teaches us that opposites are two sides of the same coin. Every challenge carries within it the seed of opportunity. You have to know this. Eric Butterworth said, problems are signposts pointing to solutions waiting to be discovered. So when a challenge arises, don't see it as an obstacle, see it as an invitation. Ask, what is the gift here? What potential is being revealed? So by shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's possible, you move from reactive leadership to creative leadership. I take people through an exercise doing this. We look at the challenges. We said, okay, here's a bite-sized piece. I have my big dream goal. It's all set. I know what I want to accomplish by the end of this quarter, by the end of this year, next year, whatever it is. And so I've broken it down to what I have to do this quarter, what I have to do this month, what I have to do this week, what I have to do this day. And then I have people list, okay, what are my challenges to getting this done this week? What are the challenges? So we can look to the law of polarity. Here's a challenge. What's the polar opposite of that challenge that I'm faced with? How can we flip this over to the polar opposite and maybe even create an affirmation and a vision around it? So we flip it on its side, we flip it on its tail, right? So the challenge then becomes an affirmative statement of what we do want to experience. So we see the contrast. We see here's a challenge. That's what I don't want. I've identified it, but now I'm going to lock into what I do want. Thank you for showing me what I don't want. That just drives me energetically to really pursue with the power of my will and with some passion what I do want to experience. So now my challenge has become a motivating factor because I'm affirming with greater feeling what I do want to experience. So, very important. Number 5, the law of perpetual transmutation. We talked about this when we went through uh, Napoleon Hill and his work, his laws of success and Think and Grow Rich. We talk about transmutation in there, the law of perpetual transmutation, and our power, your power to transform. Remember, energy, as I said earlier, is always moving, always changing. Higher frequency energy transforms lower frequencies. My mentor and teacher, Bob Proctor, emphasized this. He said, you're always moving towards something or away from something. Nothing stays the same. Very, very important realization to make. We're always moving. What are your dominant thoughts? What are your dominant feelings? Go back to that previous law. Is it about the challenge? More of what you don't want? Or is it about the infinite potentiality in what you do want? So I would suggest identify one area in your leadership or in your life that feels kind of stagnant. And then each day spend 5 minutes visualizing it infused with light and vitality. And I want you to speak words of transformation into it, saying, this situation is shifting now. New solutions and ideas are flowing to me now, and I am grateful. Just do that. Just do that. Even if you don't know the way, you don't have to. Often the how is none of your business. Most often it's none of your business. The how is going to drop in when you make these shifts in alignment with universal law. So just do this. The situation is shifting. New solutions and ideas are flowing to me now in infinite ways. Watch how the energy begins to move. Watch how situations, people, events, circumstances move in to support you. And then be aware of the law of rhythm. I mean, riding the waves. The law, life moves in cycles. You can identify that in your personal life, in your line of work, in your professional life, in your business, in your ministry. We have highs, we have lows, we have ebbs and flows. The tide comes in, the tide goes out, the wave crashes the shore, moves out to come in again. And leadership is no exception. As leaders, we're called to ride these waves, but we're called to do it with grace. not resistance, not fighting. In the down cycles, hey, that's time to reflect and renew, to focus on the vision and what you do want. In the up cycles, man, lean into it and maximize your momentum, right? It's all about energy. It's all about flowing with the energy. So an affirmation around this would be, I remain centered and steady, knowing that this too shall pass and good is flowing even now. Yes. I remain centered and steady, knowing that this too shall pass and good is flowing even now. So here's 4 practices that you can do, take with you today as we wrap this up to integrate with these laws, integrate them into your leadership. Few things here: daily silence and intention setting. Make this non-negotiable. Do it at the beginning of your day. Begin each day centered in your vision. 2, affirm affirmations of abundance, right? Speak life over your goals and your team. I lead with clarity, confidence, and compassion. I'm aligned with universal and abundance. I'm excited to move into this day today and the energy and the potential it holds. 3, take inspired action. When we start our days like this, we're opening up our hearts and mind to wisdom, inspiration, and guidance, and inspired action will drop in, but we have to act on it. So we want to act from not from fear, but from faith and alignment with what does drop in. We're going to have all kind of inspiration drop in. Where'd that come from? Act on it. It'll be good. All right. And you want to model this again, modeling and demonstration. Be the example. Let others see what it means to lead from this place of wholeness and possibility and infinite potential. So, friends, listen, the consciousness of abundance is not something you acquire. It's something you already, it's something that you align with because it's already within you. You already are it, and it's waiting to be expressed. So your challenge is to audit your dominant thoughts about leadership and success, and start right now with that gratitude in advance practice. I encourage everybody to do past, present, and future gratitude. Gratitude in advance is one of the most powerful things you can do to experience what you do want in your life. And then invest in your growth. Reach out. Have you reached out and had a conversation with me yet? In fact, that's just investing your time because there's no charge for this. Invest in your growth because as you expand, so does your capacity to lead abundantly. And really, if you're ready to elevate your leadership to new heights, whether it's personally, professionally, in your small business, in your organization, in your ministry, in your company, reach out to me. Let's explore a focused development program designed either for you as an individual or designed for your team to align your leadership with these universal principles, to align with personal and professional leadership practices. Let's do it. All right. You can do this. Reach out. Successappointment.com is my calendar. My email is Stephen@successocean.com. That's Stephen with a PH. Don't forget, I'm always looking for people that would love to move into the wonderful field of personal and professional development and work with me in this exciting and very lucrative field. So reach out. Any and all of the above. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And that's going to do it. We're out of time for today. This is the Genesis Frequency Podcast. Please like it. Please comment. Please reach out to me. Please share it. I don't have guests. I don't do advertising and marketing for the show. So please share it around. Tell people about this personal and professional and leadership development podcast. And that's how we've grown it to what it is today all over the world. So I am Dr. Cause and Effect. I am Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, inviting you to lead boldly, live abundantly, and remember, abundance isn't something you chase, it's who you already are. So I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day.